popular. Welcome back to the Friday Foursome. The response was unbelievable. 22 of you made video responses, which is unprecedented. I was bouncing off the veritable walls. Unbelievable. Really, really good. Brilliant to watch. Some great responses. Massive variance of controllers as well. The 4 favourite controllers, and many of you had so many different controllers to pick from. It's great to see lots of retro stuff. Many of you picked modern stuff. The range was epic. It was really great, and I'm glad you all had fun making the videos. Let's hope we can continue, because it seemed really popular. So I will do another one, and I will continue the series. But first, let's get to the results, shall we? Now, like I said, 22 of you entered. 22 of you made video responses, and I will list all of you, apart from the 3 vote winners. The 3 people who accrued the most votes on my Facebook page. Joint winner. So, but we had, in no particular order here, we had Amiga Old School, we had The Synergy, we had JL76 Gaming, we had True Marvellous, we had T-Rex Space Station, Shock 16, Acidonia 150, Lawn Boys Post 1975, Richard Turner, who, bless him, he had to do his twice, because I think he put some copyrighted stuff on his first one. But top man, Rich, for doing it again. I mean, that's dedication for you. Top man. Retro Game Crusader, Electric Adventures, Tony, the Stig, Retro Stig. Sorry, I get your name right, mate. Sorry, Stig. Sprites and Bites, thank you for the new sub there. Sprites and Bites. Carden Gamer, another new sub. Thank you. Soul Funk Retro, Gruss New. I'll come back to him in a minute. Oh, I should slip of the tongue. Infected Flinch, Hellfire 64, and another new sub, TGA Pelusius. I hope I said that right, mate, because it's a difficult word. Pelusius. I don't. Anyway, he made a great response as well. So brilliant responses. But the 3 winners who accrued the most votes on my Facebook page were Woodland37, and I won't say anything more. I'll just let Woodland take over.
I don't think any controllers from back in the day used today are much cop. I think they're terrible. So that's just me though. So I'm going to start with number 4 on my list, and this, I've had this for years, and I love the controller itself. I don't use it. I just keep it, and it is very fitting, especially right now. Anyway, it's a Mad Catz Xbox 360 controller in the New England Patriots version. Love the controller, absolutely brilliant. The little trigger sticks there are quite nice. It feels nice in the hand. I always remember getting this, and from new, the microphone bit didn't work. The microphone bit never worked. So, but I always used to have a wireless one anyway. So that's in at number 4. So I just hate it when people wrap the wires around the pads. At number 3, it would have to be a similar choice to yours, and is the DualShock 2. This one I've had for many years. I bought this from a Japanese website, brand new. Play Asia, is that Japanese? And it's like a yellow variant of it. Very nice. I've always kept it in really nice condition. It's always my controller of choice for the playing on the PS2. That colour, I mean. And in at number 3 is my favourite console of all time. Love this controller. It is the Dreamcast controller. I've got quite a few variants on these. This is it's the Japanese one with the red Dreamcast logo. Struggled, tried to, because my favourite colour is pink. It's the truth. So I hunted down a pink Dreamcast controller, and in at number 1 It's been my favourite controller for quite some time. And I've mentioned it in a video many moons ago that this is my favourite controller. It's a bit dusty actually, don't know why. And it is the GameCube controller. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it fits in the hand nice. The kidney buttons are nice, the A and the B, and I've also got the Smash Brothers ones that have been released. Well, this is the one that I use mostly, the silver one. So yeah, that is my top 4 for Friday Foursome, and thanks for watching, and thanks for being yourself.
So as always, good old Carl, not cutting any corners, very honest, unique controllers as well there. He had, I mean, the 360, you mentioned the 360 controller, and I've got to say the 360 controller was the outright winner if we're carrying up the number of votes for different controllers. The 360, I believe, got 13 nominations, the 360 controller, so that seemed to be the outright winner. The DualShock 2, the DualShock 2 being the runner-up with 8 votes, 8 selections. So thank you, Carl, for that. Woodland37, check him out, link in the description box. Top man. And a joint 7, and with 7, he got 7 votes, by the way. I should have said that before I let him talk, but he got 7 votes. Also, who got 7 votes is our good friend over the waters in Holland, the Netherlands, and that's Lactobacillus Prime. And well, I'll let Lacto take it from here.
So, the first controller that I totally like is an arcade stick that I happened to use quite a bit on the Commodore 64, and that's the Suzo arcade stick. It has a couple of variants. It has a 2-button stick, and it also comes with a single stick. British users may know similar sticks, and they're called the Competition Pro. A lot of Amiga users were using them. They were actually made by the same company, which was actually based in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, Suzo arcade sticks. So yeah, the Suzo arcade and the other one, that is actually my ultimate controllers of all time, because that's the controller that I really learned to play arcade games with, and I found out that it actually compares quite favorably to the arcade machines, actually, because they have micro switches and have well, actually arcade parts. So and then I'm a big dual analog stick buff, and the first stick that actually offered that was the Sony's dual analog, or dual shock, which can be viewed here. This was not the original PlayStation joystick. That was actually very similar to a pronged Super Nintendo stick. Funny actually how the PlayStation controller ports and the Nintendo controller ports are actually very similar. But I've been using one of my few live gamepad showings, Logitech Rumble Pad 2, which is actually modeled after the PlayStation dual analog stick. I've been using joysticks like this on the PC for years, only to replace them eventually with something like this, the Xbox 360 joypad with the offset dual analog sticks. A must-have if you play PC games. I bought the 360 on release. I was big into the Live, Xbox Live, and I totally loved the controller, which still is quite a good one. There's one sad thing about it, is because the older revisions had a motherboard that was actually sitting very low in the bottom of the controller, and the thumb pad, the D-pad, sits actually quite high, and there would be these long prongs that press down onto the motherboard. So actually the D-pad on a lot of these older Xbox 360 controllers is not very responsive, just because of the mechanics of the long prongs doing the action on the buttons. There's a couple of new revisions, and the latest Xbox 360 controllers, they have a thumb pad that you can actually rotate. But also it's more responsive because the buttons are actually underneath the D-pad. So a new Xbox 360 controller, that is actually a new design Xbox 360 controller. I mean, you can't see it because the shape and everything is exactly the same. But yeah, and then the most favorite that I also use on consoles for arcade games is actually this, which is an Xbox 360 arcade stick. I have multiple micro switched arcade sticks for the Saturn, for the PlayStation, for just about any system. PlayStation 3, Xbox, original, GameCube. Yeah, I'm a big arcade stick buff, if you catch the drift. So yeah, those are my 4 favorite gaming devices.
So again, another person to vote for the 360 controller there, but really got the Commodore 64 stick he's got in there, cue to an arcade stick, and of course the 360 arcade stick that he picked as his top pick. So again, just the range of controllers is just really, really good. Some of the controllers I've never even heard of, and I'm assuming that a lot of people out there who are watching this have never heard of some of these controllers either. So it's, apart from being brilliant for the community, it's educational as well, and it's all good shit, isn't it? And finally, number 3, who got 6 votes. Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. A lot of notes. Who got 6 votes on my Facebook is Russ Newton. Very well supported there by his dog Frank, and yeah, I will let Russ say his piece.
So Frank, should we make a start? I think we should. It looks absolutely amazed. Right then, the first controller, in no particular order, is this. It's the Sony PlayStation DualShock 2. This first came out, I believe, well, it must have come out when the PlayStation 2 came out. I did have the original DualShock, the white version for the PS1, but that's long since gone. But anyway, this is the first one. And very nice, fits it in your hands, great. Spent a lot of hours on this controller, Gran Turismo, Tomb Raider. Next, come in to have a look. Really nice controller. I remember the first one when it first came out, and I used to put it back in the box, or obsessed with not getting it dirty or getting any marks on it. But that's the first one. So that's that. Move that to one side. The second one is the Neo Geo CD controller. Now I've got this for my MVS system. If you don't know a lot about these controllers, it's fully micro switched on the D-pad. If you can hear that. Frank, can you hear that? I can hear that. Really nice controller, and I use this with Neo Drift Out on my MVS. Obviously originally designed for the CD, Neo Geo CD, and they are getting quite hard to find because they do suffer with the micro switches going up and breaking. I did strip this down and clean it, and I have got another 2 that I need to get round to cleaning and basically making one out of the 2. A really nice controller nonetheless. So that's number 2. Number 3, I've had to put back together because I did strip it down a few days ago, and I'm going to put it in the sink to wash. So at the minute all the buttons aren't sat in right, it's just, you know, put together with a couple of screws. But this is my original Mega Drive, well, my second owned controller that I got from my Mega Drive. It's the Turbo PowerPad Conix. I've never seen one of these up for sale since. You can screw a joystick in, Isn't that right, Frank? You can screw a joystick into there. I don't know why. To make it into some kind of arcade stick, maybe. I don't know, Frank. What do you think? Yeah. As I said before in one of my previous videos, it's got a sticker on the back, and I actually put Sonic Player 1. And I used to have this all the time, and my sister had the original Mega Drive controller. But yeah, it's a bit battered, and I am in the process of giving it a bit of a clean and showing it a bit of TLC. So that's number 3. It's my fully modified Sega Saturn virtual stick. Now, I never know really how to say it, because I always say virtual, but it's not. It's virtua stick. I suppose it depends how you want to say it, really. Isn't that right, Frank? You're not looking very happy, are you? Don't you want your Sonic toys? Where are they? Where are they? Find them. Yeah, so it's anyway, back to it. It's fully modified. It's got the upgraded stick, micro switch buttons. The only thing that's missing is the artwork, which I'm not too fussed about, to be honest with you. It does the job, and it's very nice to play with your classic 2D vertical shooters for the Japanese Saturn. So that's about it. That's my 4 favourite controllers at the moment, ending with this one, which is absolutely awesome. I think Frank loves it, don't you, Frank? I think he wants to have a go on it.
So, yeah, nice to see a Neo Geo entrant there. There are a couple of Neo Geo. I think Shox picked the Neo Geo AES arcade stick. Brilliant choice. Very, very, very good as well. But yeah, one selection for the DualShock 2 there from Gruss, and a Saturn stick as well. So like I said, everyone's got different preferences, haven't they? It's surprising how many people have different preferences. You think that you know what your favourite controllers are, and you think, oh well, people have got to like that. They've got to say the DualShock 2 is the best, or they've got to say the SNES controller is the best, or the Mega Drive. Lots of love for the Mega Drive. Got 7 or 8 nominations for the 3-button Mega Drive and the 6-button Mega Drive as well, more than the SNES pad, interestingly enough. And I think only one vote for the NES pad as well. There you go. So thank you to one and all, for everyone, for making a video response. It's been a good couple of weeks watching your responses. So with that aside, we'll move on to this week's Friday Foursome question. When I found my bloody question, all over the place. So 4 as always, 4. And this question has been requested of me by Smooth MJ, and I've put it into a Friday Foursome kind of. I've metamorphosized the question to be 4, and it's quite straightforward, really. What are the games of your life? 4 games of your life. Now, this is not what your favourite games are, not your 4 favourite games, and not the 4 best games you've played either. These are the 4 games that you most cherish, the most nostalgic for you, the ones that bring the goosebumps out. They may not be the best, they may be total shit, but for you personally, they trigger something. They trigger something up here, a personal memory, a nostalgia buzz. You cherish them and you love them, despite it doesn't matter what they are. So 4 games from 4 different systems, and that's the important thing. So you can't pick 2 games from the same system. Nope. So 4 games from 4 different systems, and they can be recent, they can be retro, they can be from your childhood, they can be from now. It doesn't matter. That is entirely up to you. But that is it. My 4. I'll crack on with my 4. So the first I'm going to pick, obviously, the Amstrad GX4000, because it is a machine very close to my heart, as you all know, regular watchers of this channel know. So I'm picking 2 Amstrad systems. That's not a surprise to everyone. And it's Burning Rubber, the game that came with the system, because it's arguably the game that I played the most, and it's by far not the best game for the system, and it's not particularly the best racing game ever. It's passable, but it's a game I go back to regularly. Because it reminds me of that time when I first got the GX4000, and it's the theme music is just really, really, it buzzes me, the theme music for Burning Rubber, and the feel of it, and I'm so familiar with the way it looks and sounds and plays, and it's, for me, it's a very important game. I mean, no one else is going to pick that. I really doubt anyone else is going to pick that, but for me personally, it's a very important and cherished game. Now for the Amstrad CPC, it's a tough one, because I played so many Amstrad CPC games back then and during the years, and of course more so now as well. I was going to choose Manic Miner because it was one of the first games I had for the CPC, and I spent a lot of time on it. But I think from a pure nostalgic point of view, and again, regular viewers, this will be no surprise to you, it will be the first Dizzy game. That's Dizzy, the Ultimate Cartoon Adventure. It infuriated me, that game, back in the day. I couldn't complete it then. I only managed to work it out many years later on how to fully complete it, but I used to play it a lot, and many a time the CPC would have Dizzy loaded up on it, and I would have arguments with my brother who wanted to load something else up, and I'd say, no, you leave Dizzy on. The music, the look of it, the style of Dizzy, just so, it was brilliant. And the Oliver Twins gave me a game where really it cemented my interest in video games. So thank you, the Oliver Twins, for that, and of course the Codemasters as well. And the fact that years later I got to interview the Oliver Twins for the Pixel Empire as well really did it for me. So yeah, Dizzy, the Ultimate Cartoon Adventure on the Amstrad CPC. Now moving on to the Super Nintendo, and my pick from the Super Nintendo again is a choice which was difficult because I didn't want to pick an early game that I had. Well, no, I didn't want to pick, should I say it. The early games were really important. F-Zero, Super Mario World, SimCity. The tune of SimCity is unbelievable. When the titles come down, it's just really goosebumping for me. But I've got to be a little bit boring here and pick Street Fighter 2, because Street Fighter 2 was so exciting at the time to have a game that was so similar to the arcade machine that I was so familiar with, and have it in your home. And it's the day that I got Street Fighter 2 in the gold box with the gold label. It was like, what is this mystical piece of jewellery and entertainment? It was amazing. And I got that when we were on we were spending Christmas at my aunt's, and my father bought me the full price, the £65 cartridge for Street Fighter 2 when it was released for that Christmas, and we sat all morning, Christmas morning, playing Street Fighter 2, and that memory is such a good memory for me, but not for gaming, but for family as well, for personal reasons, you know, for the smell of the Christmas dinner cooking as as I was getting my head kicked in by my brother, who, seriously enough, he mastered E-Honda very quickly, which I didn't see that coming at all. So he weren't happy when I picked Ken though, because I would always beat him, and I still do. So, and my fourth and final choice for my most cherished game of a system, this has to be the PlayStation 1, and it's a game that I discovered I have I can be a bad loser. Now, I'm pretty good with racers when I lose, and maybe strategy games and stuff like that. I'm alright. But when it comes to fighting games, I think this does stem from Street Fighter 2. I discovered then, by playing this game with my mate at the time, still my best friend as well, that I lose my temper rather stupidly quickly. I hope I've culled that now. But that's Tekken 3 on the PlayStation, and it was the game that really got me into the PlayStation. It took me a while to really appreciate the PlayStation, even with Metal Gear Solid and the Wipeout series. Wipeout 3 is one of my favourite all-time games, but for a nostalgic, cherished point of view, and a very important game, it's probably Tekken 3 for the many memories that I have of that game and playing it with friends. and learning all the combinations of the hard characters, the different characters, and unlocking everything. And it's right there. It's right in the body. Is Tekken 3. I wish I still had my original copy, but I don't. So anyway, that was my 4 most cherished games, my 4 games of my life from 4 different systems. Now I pass it over to you. Tell me 4 games, 4 different games from 4 different systems that are most cherished to you, most nostalgic, most important to you. Again, like I said, they don't have to be the best games in the world, they don't have to be your favourite games in the world, but they're the most important to you. Okay, thank you again for all the video responses before. This has been a brilliant start to the Friday Foursome. And again, I will be back in 2 weeks. I'll be back in 2 weeks for the follow-up for this second Friday Foursome. Okay? Again, keep saying it again and then again. I'm not going to say it again. Sod it. Cheers. I look forward to seeing in your video responses. Yeah, it's been bloody excellent. And with that, I'll bid you a farewell. Friday Foursome,